I just did some preliminary mixing, so just to get things going a bit quicker, but I'll show you what I did. So I was working with, um, I was thinking about my lights first, and for a Caucasian person, you can pretty much go with white, yellow ochre, and a bit of cadmium red. And if you have a little more yellow ochre, you get kind of this more yellow ochre side of things. If you have a bit more red, you can get kind of more of this nice pale pink. And oftentimes those two colors make a good flesh in and of themselves. You can also combine the different reds with the different yellows, or the cadmium red with the cadmium yellow. The difference is that the yellow ochre is already pretty well grayed. And that means it's quite a dull yellow. It's not as chromatic and bright as the cadmiums, for instance. So actually, if I take another brush, I'll just show you quickly. I'll just show you with a small brush. If I wanted to do a different kind of flesh, I would do, or if I wanted to use the brighter colors, I could do cadmium red and cadmium yellow. And it gets to, these are really strong colors. So it's gonna take more work to get them to fall into a flesh range, kind of like these. So if I take those two, start to add a bit of white, maybe I'll add just a bit more red to that mixture. So this is not bad, but it's very bright. You know, if you were painting someone under a really warm light, you might decide to use this red and this yellow. But you know, similar quantities of white and the two colors, and we're still very, very bright. If you add even more white to it, you can do that, but it's still really, really bright. So what I'm saying is that you'll need to dull it down at some point. And so I think, like I've said a couple times in this class, to dull it down, you jump to the complementary color. So you can see when we add a little bit of blue to that one, it gets a bit duller. Add a little bit more blue, and we're starting to get closer to sort of where this, where these colors relate a bit better. So it takes a lot more work to dull down those colors. Whereas if I just went straight into the yellow ochre, I would be much better off, just kind of in this grayed flesh tone, which is a nice way to start. So when I'm making a darker halftone, I'm starting off with cadmium red and yellow ochre again. And you get this kind of orangey mixture that can be a little too chromatic, and it can be really, really warm. So if I mix a bit more of those together, you can see it a bit better. What I want to do is start to add little bits of cool color to it. And so you get this much better range of this warm tone. And so once you're in this kind of neutral range, you can start to veer it. So if we add a little more red, we'll take over this red pile up here. Now we have like this nice dark red pile, or darker, I should say. It's not really very dark. And if we take over this yellow chunk down here, now we have a slightly yellowier version of it. And then we can also, oops, that's a bit too much blue. But you can also get this nice cool, and this one's even more neutral, blue color as well. So I'm just taking my primaries really and playing around with them, getting these kind of neutrals and remembering my complementary colors. If my mixture is headed a bit too red, for instance, maybe I'll just red it up a bit. But we want to keep it in the red family, just dull it down a bit. I'm going to add a little bit of this viridian green, not much. And it's going to dull it down nicely for me, which is over here. And so we have this brighter red over here. We have a duller red on that side. Same thing, if it goes too yellow, I'm going to add some sort of purple to it. If it goes too blue, I'm going to add orange. And always thinking about those complementaries.